Okay, today we are doing 7.5 using slope and y-intercept to graph lines. This is by far the fastest way to graph. Tonight's homework, you will be required to graph. You're doing 1 through 53 odd, and numbers 28 through 45 will be graphing. You can skip 47 if you'd like. So I said you can skip number 47 if you're watching this. Okay, vocabulary, you're going to, new words that we're adding is the method. This is a method, and it is the slope-intercept method, okay, which we will utilize the y-intercept and the slope. All right, graph the line which passes through -2, 1 and has a slope of -3. Okay, so it has to pass through that point. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to create a graph, and we're going to plot the point -2 and 1. I start at the origin, I go over 2, up 1. Now we need to create a slope of 3. A slope of 3, we're going to need to turn, of -3, we're going to need to turn that into a fraction. So -3 as a fraction, if there is no denominator, put it over 1. So -3 over 1. That way I can do my rise over run, which we talked about yesterday. This is your rise, and this is your run. So we're going to rise -3, and that means we're going to go down 3 units. Okay, from that point, I'm rising -3, and then I'm running +1. Positive is to the right, negative is to the left. For the rise, positive is up, negative is down. So if I go down -3, then I have to go to the right to keep it negative, +1, because -3 over +1. I can do it again, down 3, +1 to the right. Or we can go the other direction. Remember I said to you, we can take the negative in the denominator. So I can go +3 and then left -1. Put a point. +3, and then we can draw a line through the points. Now, one of the biggest mistakes is that kids do all this work and then they forget to draw the line. Okay? You'll lose 3 points if you cannot remember to draw the points on this line. Okay? So now they want us to graph the line which passes through 3, 2 and has a slope of 3/4. So why don't you pause the recording and try it. Now let's check it. We'll stop at 3, 2. Okay, that's where we're going to start. And now I'm going to rise 3 and run 4. Rise 3 and run 4. Okay, from that point. This is a rise, and this is a run. So remember, this is my across movement, and this is my up and down movement. So I'm going to go up 1, 2, 3. Excuse me. Over 1, 2, 3, 4. That's my next point. And I can do it the other way as well. Oops, I went the wrong way. I can go the other way as well. Whoops, sorry about that. I went +3 and I went -4. Remember, it is +3, +4. So then the same way, so if I'm going +3, it was a +4. I should have gone the opposite direction. So now I can do negative over negative really makes a positive. So I can go down 3 and left 4. Down 3, left 4. Okay, down 3, left 4. Negative, then negative to the left. Down 3, -4. And then I have a series of points, and I can connect them. Okay. If you want to try this one, you can, but we're going to move on. Check your work. going to start at the negative 5 comma 4. We're going to rise over run to these other points. All right. Slope-intercept form of a linear equation is y equals mx plus b, where the m is your slope and the b is your y-intercept. Okay, when we get the y alone, it's considered slope-intercept form. This is by far the easiest way to graph. Now, it's easiest to put it in a table if you get y alone, and it's easiest to graph if you get y alone without using the table method. So the first thing we're going to do is we have to be able to find the slope and the y-intercept. So yesterday we talked about that the m is your slope and that the b is your y-intercept. Okay, so we are going to find, I'm going to do the first one. The slope is the number that always comes before the x. So here, my m equals 3 and my b equals 4. B is the y-intercept. It's the variable we use for y-intercept. We don't use y because x and y represent this point. Okay? So in this, the m is the slope, the b is the y-intercept, the x and y are part of the point. So I found the slope and the y-intercept on number 2. My m is negative 2 and my b is negative 1. I want you to pause the recording and try the next view on your own. All right, let's check our work. Number 3, my m is negative 2 and my b is 0. My y-intercept is 0. When you refer to it as m and b. I'll know what you're talking about when you say your slope, your m is, whatever, and your b is whatever. Okay, try and use m and b. It's abbreviated. So number 4, my m is 5/8. My b is negative 4. Number 5, my m is negative 2/9, and my b is negative 1/4. Now notice I take the sign with it, right? Okay, number 6, a little tricky. The x term is gone, so the m is 0 and the b is 6, because it's 0 times x plus 6. What would make the x disappear is 0 times x plus 6 equals y equals 6. So that's why the m is 0 and the b is 6. All right. So now that we know how to find our slope and our y-intercept, now let's build the equation. Let's go the other way. So I'm going to try it. Y equals 2x. Remember it's y equals mx plus b. And then I have a minus 3. Pause the recording and try the next few on your own. All right, let's check our work. The next one should be y equals 2/3 x plus 5. Number 3 should be y equals negative 3/7x. 3/7, negative 3/7 x plus 2. Number 4 is y equals 0x plus 6, so y equals 6. 0 times x equals 0. Right? One more time, it would be y equals 0 times x plus 6. Number 5, y equals negative 1/2 x. Number 6, y equals x minus 2/3. 1x minus 2/3. Okay? All right, so here we are, we're ready to graph. I don't like to do this without the graph paper, but that's what my PowerPoint's doing. So graph, the first thing we have to do is find, and this is the work you have to show, okay? People think that you can just do this without doing any work. If you don't show this work, I don't give you a point for work. So what I need you to do is to blatantly tell me what is my M and what is my B, okay? My M, identify your M and B, okay? So M equals 2/3 and B equals -1, okay? We are going to always start at the B beginning on the y-intercept. On the y-axis where the line crosses, we're going to start here. The difference is they're not giving us a point. We're starting at B, the beginning, on the y-axis. So where is -1? That is here. And from there, we are going to rise over run. Rise, 1, 2, run, 1, 2, 3. Okay? Think of B, the beginning is on the y-axis. So I'm plotting the point, and I'm rising. Plot the slope. I'll go up 2, +3. Up 2, +3. I could do -2 over -3 because negative over negative makes a positive. So I could go down 1, 2. Remember, this is our up and down, and this is our across movement. Down 2 over 1, 2, 3. And you'll notice it makes a line. Now the last part, you can't forget, you have to connect the points. I want you to make sure that your X and Y axis, that they have arrows, that they're labeled with X and Y axis. And again, we're still going to label 2 points. Okay, this is 1, 2, 3, 3, 1. And I can go, this one is 0, -1. Okay? So here we go. We've identified the M and the B. You identify the M and the B. The M is, why don't you try this one on your own? Now that you've identified your M is -1/2, your B is 4. Where are we going to start? We start at the y-intercept. The B, the beginning. So I'm going to go to 4 on the y-axis, count up from the origin. And then we are going to rise. Now we can take the negative in the numerator, denominator, but not in both. So I think for the slope, the first time I'll go down 1. I'll take the negative in the numerator. So I'm going to go down 1, right 2, +2. To the right is +2. I'm going to go down 1 and 2. The more points you get, and it doesn't take you that long, especially when you're on graph paper, the more accurate your line is. Or I can take the negative in the denominator. I'm going to go rise 1, run -2. And we draw the line through the points, label 2 points. Let's go 1, 2, 3, 4. So it's 0, 4. And then I will do this one, which is 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 2, 3. And we are done. Arrows on the ends of your axes. Label the X, the Y, and we're done. You don't need to write all these words. You just have to identify your M and B. Okay? Pause the recording and try the next one on your own. M equals 3 over 5, and B equals -2. So I'm going to go here, 1, 2. That's my starting point, the beginning on the y-axis. We always start on the y-axis. And then I'm going to rise 1, 2, 3, run 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Or I can do -3 over -5 because that makes a positive. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then I plot the point, draw the line. So guys, this is the only work you have to show me. The only work you have to show me is the m and the b. Right here. You have to write the equation. You have to identify m and b. And it should all be right next to the graph. So I can see it. I see where it came from, the original equation. What is the m? What is the b? You don't need to write both slopes. You don't need to show negative over negative. I just wanted to show you that you could do -3 over -5 is in fact equivalent. That is the work. Nothing else. Okay, try the next one on your own. Now check your work. My slope is 2, so to turn that into a fraction, we're going to put it over 1 for our slope. 2 over 1. So we're going to start at the 3 on the y-axis, and then I'm going to rise 2 and run 1 to the right. I'm going up 2, run 1. And I can do negative over negative, down 2, left 1. Just keep going. It makes it really accurate. Take your ruler and connect it with, now remember, no baby lines. We're using straight edges for everything. I'm going to check your graphs tonight. All right, next, let's go on to what happens if it's not so pretty. If it's not so pretty, you have to get the y alone to use this method. So we have to subtract 5x. And then we're going to divide all terms by -2. All terms. I like to kind of write it like this. Skip that step and just go divide by -2, divide by -2, divide by -2. Then I get a y equals, notice, 5 over 2x. And this becomes a -3. Okay, -3. So 6 divided by -2 is -3. So now we do our m equals 5 over 2, and our b is -3. So in this particular one, if it comes in standard form where y is not alone, then we have to get y alone. And only then can we find the m and the b. The only way this is going to work. So all this work is required next to the graph. So now I start at -3, and I'm going to rise 5 and run 2. Up 5, right 2. Up 5, right 2. I can go down 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, off 1, 2. It'd be right about here. Right about here. We can do it just to connect our points, but since it's off the grid, you only need those points. Notice there's no baby lines. Okay, try the next one. Get y alone first. Go. Now check your work. Subtract 4x. Now we're going to divide all terms by 3. And we get y equals -4 over 3x plus 3. M equals -4 over 3, and b equals 3. So we're starting at 3 on the y-axis. Now remember, our slope has a negative in it. We can use it in the numerator or the denominator. So I'm going to plot my 3, and I'm going down 4, right 3. Down 4, right 3. Down 4, right 3. Or I can go take the negative in the numerator and go up 4, positive 4, negative 3. Okay? And we draw the line. We label 2 points. This is 0, 3, and this is 1, 2, 3, negative 1. I've labeled my x-axis, my y-axis. Everything has arrows, and we're done. So step 1, get y alone. Step 2, identify the m and the b. Step 3, start at the y-intercept. I'll put this off on the side. And then step 4, you're going to rise over run your slope to multiple points. Okay, I'm available tomorrow at 2:30 to help with homework if you're struggling. It won't be late if you get it in at least after the tutoring. So, all right, write a linear equation in slope-intercept form to describe each graph. Now, this is actually pretty easy, so let's go to, we need to find our y-intercept, our m, and our b. The b is the y-intercept, and that is right here. I'm going blue. So that is a positive 1, 2, 3. And then my rise is 1, 2. And positive 1 is the run. So if I have that, then I can write y equals 2x plus 3. Because remember, it's in y equals mx plus b. Okay, pause the recording and try the next one on your own. Okay, hopefully you chose your your b is negative 4, and your rise is 1 over negative 3. So this would be y equals negative 1/3 x minus 4. All right, Kyle has an equation. We're going to write an equation, linear equation describing the situation. So Kai has $300 and is saving $25 per week. What's changing is the number of weeks, so that becomes your x. So we'll say x is your number of weeks, and we can say y is the money, his total savings. So y equals 25 times the number of weeks plus the 300. So what would be my y-intercept, and what is my m? My y-intercept will be the 300, and the m is 25 per week over 1, right? So it would be 25 over 1. So if I made a graph, right, we've got hundreds of dollars, and we've got weeks. Okay, we could start at the y-intercept, and then you'll notice we can go 25 per week. So at 1 week, it might be right here. And then at 2 weeks, I would have 50 halfway up. At 3 weeks, I would be 3/4 of the way through. And at 4 weeks, we should be at 400. We draw the line, I can keep going. At 5 weeks, we could be at 425. Right? And we draw the line. Now notice it doesn't go through because money can't be negative. We're only using our first quadrant. Okay? So that's a real life situation. Pam received $100 and spends $4 per week. Try and write the equation. Okay, so hopefully you realize that weeks are changing. we got 100, starting with the 100, or we can do y equals negative 4x plus that starting point of 100. So she's spending, so it's minus. Now, what are the slope? The slope is negative 4 over 1, and the y-intercept is 100. Okay? And that, my friends, is our recording. Remember, you can turn the homework in after tutoring tomorrow at 2:30.